What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another deadline stream. This is for Game Week 26, and guess what? It is the big one. It is a double game week for all us fantasy managers. We have been waiting for this game week announcement. It came last Friday. We got our fixtures in, and now it's time to make our choices. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel, FPL INKLING. Let me know how I'm doing. Hit the notification icon to get my latest videos. Leave me some feedback and send me in some questions about any questions you may have for the weeks coming ahead, transfers, what you want to bring in. Let me know. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys again for watching and for supporting me. It's all really appreciated, and I want to give you guys the best I can in regards to my information, my tips around Fantasy Premier League and what I believe you guys can do to get the best results as managers in your leagues. And even if you guys want like any personal objectives, I can help you with that as well. So thank you for the questions that you guys have sent through this week. So let's go through what changes I've made. So far this week I have made 4 changes. So 4 changes to my squad. I had 2 free transfers. It's cost me 8 points. So I guys can go through with you guys what changes I did make, who I've brought in, who I've taken out, my reasonings behind it, what my future plans are, where I want to go through. And I've also got a lot of questions which came through from you guys, which I'll be going through as well. So if you guys have any more questions that you do want to ask, feel free to leave it in the comments section here, or you can privately message me on my Instagram account, under my YouTube video. Let me know and I can help you with any questions you may have. First of all, I'm going to tell you the transfers that I have made. So let's go on to my team itself. So the first change came in defence. I had to take out Matty Cash. Matty Cash got I think it was a hamstring or a groin injury in the previous game week. He was out for this game week, so I held on to that transfer. So I brought in Reguilon. Now, the reason why I brought in Reguilon, let's go through some information for him. So the first thing is total ownership. He's a differential. He's owned by only, at the moment, 2.4% of any of all the managers in Fantasy Premier League. What he brings to the Tottenham lineup, I think he was the missing piece over the last couple of weeks when he's been injured. So he's been out for about, as you guys can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game weeks. And in those 5 game weeks, they have actually missed his not only defensive abilities, but also his attacking abilities. I believe that if you guys remember, during the first part of the season here, he got a lot of games where he got 4 points, 6 points, 6 points, 5 points, and 6 points. So within, like, I think it was from game week 7 to game week 11, he pretty much only had 2 points less than Harry Kane. And remember, guys, this was a time when Harry Kane was absolutely flying. The guy was getting returns with Son. He was on like an absolute mean run of goal scoring, goal setups, assists, man of the match points, bonus points. He was all over Tottenham's attacking senses, but you had someone like Reguilon who was getting the clean sheets at that point, and you guys can see he's got like an assist there, but he also picked up a few bonus points as well during that period. So for me, he was a no-brainer. I brought him in, but I'm also bearing in the fact that if you look at Tottenham's fixtures, he's got Burnley and Fulham at home this week. So that is something that we will be looking at as something which is an advantage for Tottenham. I believe they've got the best game week fixtures for the double game week. Sorry about that. I believe he's got the best game week fixtures, and I think if he can get 2 clean sheets and I can get 12 points and maybe a few bonus points and I can assist or run a goal out of him, I think that was a good choice for me to make, and it was well worth the 8-point hit that I did take. So for me, that's the reason why I brought Reguilon in. He's a differential. For me, I backed him earlier in the season. I didn't have him in the team. I was about to bring him in and then he got injured. But from the information that I've given, as you guys can see, he's also got Southampton, which is a game week to be decided. And in regards to Spurs, there's not much rotation. They do have like a first team squad. And if you look at these fixtures here, even after the Fulham game, he's got Crystal Palace at home on the 7th of March. He's got Arsenal away. Bit of a challenging fixture, obviously. It's a North London derby. But Spurs won the first one earlier this season. Then they've got Aston Villa. Again, Villa have been on great form. They lost Jack Grealish. We don't know how long for. So maybe having him will be a good good choice in the team. And then you've got Newcastle. The only game I can actually see after then is probably Manchester United and Everton. But if you look at the games after, they look fairly reasonable for Spurs, saying that they have lost quite a few games recently. But with Mourinho, Champions League at stake, Gareth Bale coming into the team, Reguilon back in, it can only get better. So why not? A differential, only 2.4% ownership. Reguilon, for me, had to come into the team at this time. The second change I did make was Raheem Sterling to Kevin De Bruyne. Again, one of the key points for me was the total ownership. So the teams that have selected, or the managers that have selected Kevin De Bruyne, is only 11.3%. Now for a manager, for me, that was literally like an eye-opener. At this point, he's highly owned at any point of the game, but because he's come back from injury, you've got people like Gundogan who are half his price and have had a real good run in the team in terms of goal scoring and assists for Man City. The automatic selection would be Gundogan, but never ever forget Kevin De Bruyne over the last couple of seasons haven't let us down. So if you look at his stats, even for just this season, he's got 3 goals and 10 assists. Bringing it back to last season, he got over 250 points. He scored 23 assists and 13 goals. So he's always there or thereabouts. I believe that he probably won't get the same goal tally or points tally as last season. But in terms of assists, bonus points, he's always on Guardiola's team sheet. Yes, he only had 62 minutes against Arsenal, but I believe that was generally just a return after an injury, just getting him into match fitness. But I believe he will play the 2 games that they have against West Ham and Wolves at home. So why not get Kevin De Bruyne in? Originally, he was my captaincy choice for the week, but after what Bruno Fernandes did against Newcastle, he doesn't even have to play well, and he has immense returns. So for me, it's going to be Bruno as the main captain, and Kevin De Bruyne is going to be my vice captain for the week. So Kevin De Bruyne has come in as my second change. My third change of the week was Jamie Vardy. Now Jamie Vardy at the moment, he is owned by 18.6% of the managers. So that's quite a high ownership almost. He has come up from around the 12 to 13% because of his recent form. Every year, year in, year out, he proves us managers wrong. We always try to shy away from him at the start of the season, saying he's probably not going to replicate it this season. This is the one where Jamie Vardy actually loses his touch, but he comes back and he proves us wrong. Last season, he gave me great dividends of having him in the team, but even this year so far, he's not done too badly. I know he's been out injured for about 3 to 4 weeks because of his hip injury or surgery that he did have. But he's come back, and you think to yourself, the guy's come back from injury, how is he going to look? Will he have the same sharpness? Will he be as effective? Will he have that match awareness to be in the right places, to take his chances, to set up chances? And he's shown that. So he's convinced me in the last 2 games he's played against Liverpool and Aston Villa. So one thing you have to remember against Liverpool, it's a high-intensity game. A high intensity where they literally, in the last 15 minutes of the game, changed the game. So Liverpool ran out of energy, and that's where the trio of Leicester, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy and James Maddison literally took advantage of Liverpool's lack of match fitness or awareness, or basically just overcommitment. So I believe Jamie Vardy has come into the squad. I know a couple of game weeks ago I was looking at Aguero. He was going to be part of my plans. Guardiola has shown that he's preferring to play this season without a striker, and it's worked for him. If he's top of the league with 7 points on Manchester United and Leicester, then who are we to question him? But look at Vardy's returns. In 25 game weeks, he's got 21 returns, and you've got to understand, you can see 3 game weeks he was out injured. So let's take this off. So 22 games, he's got 21 returns. So it's almost averaging a return every game week practically, and he's got 17 bonus points, as you guys see as well. Yeah, so he's got 17 bonus points, which again is huge for being such a prolific striker. And with the price tag, yeah, it is a big budget. It's nearly 10% of the whole budget of the 15 players, but if you've got a player who's going to be playing week in, week out, He's trusted by his manager. He's trusted in the league, as you guys can see, since 2014, which was his first season where he only got 5 goals and 12 assists. He's pretty much got he's got more than 10 goals every season, more than 15 if you take out 2016, 2017, where you can see that his minutes were slightly less than the full season. So yeah, he's got pretty much 15 goals a season. He's averaging this year again, I reckon he's got 12 and 25. So if you look at it from that perspective, he's looking at around another 18 to 20 goals this season. But if you look at his fixtures, it's a no-brainer for me to bring him in right now. So you look at Arsenal and Burnley. He'll be playing Arsenal at home. Leicester at home have been phenomenal. Arsenal, yes, they've been defensively sound. They haven't played to the best of their ability, but Leicester do not shy away. If they can score 3 goals against teams like Arsenal in previous games, like where they've had stronger teams, in my opinion, then why not? I would bring them in. They've scored 3 goals against Liverpool recently. They scored 5 at the Etihad at the start of the season. So Brendan Rodgers needs to be given huge credit for the players that he brings in. So why not get him in? You've got Burnley, Brighton and Sheffield. Now, these 3 fixtures for me are absolutely crucial. I honestly believe this guy is going to absolutely run riot on these teams. If he gets the space, if he gets the chances, he's on set pieces for penalties. For me, Jamie Vardy, yes, he's not got a game week in game week 29, but I'm looking at the first 4 games he's going to be playing when I brought him in. So it's worth the -4 that I took, and I think he'll make that up within this double game week. So yeah, Jamie Vardy is in. Once he comes back from the 29 game week where he has a blank week, he's got Man City at home. Now that's going to be a crucial game. Will Man City slip up in the next couple of games? Will that game have like a title-bearing challenge? Will City lose their winning streak? Will Leicester go for it? Again, a lot of questions to answer. The City defence haven't been tested. So if Leicester actually go for them, they've done it before, 5-1 at the Etihad. Can they do it at home and beat them? I don't see why not. So Jamie Vardy was in there for me. And then if you look at his game weeks after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he starts with West Ham, West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle. They're all winnable fixtures for me. So if you look at the next, I'd say 4 plus 6, 10 out of the 11 game weeks, I believe that he has favourable fixtures. He has 3 hard games in the last 3 games of the season. He's got Manchester United, Chelsea and Tottenham. By that time, they could be competing for the title. Never say never. Last time I said Leicester can't win the league, they won the league. But that sets up a good finale. Could Leicester's last 3 games actually determine the league itself? Or can it actually determine who will finish in the top 4 or European places? Ought to look forward to. At the moment, because he's owned by only 18.6% of fantasy Premier League managers, for me, it was a no-brainer to bring him in right now. So that's Jamie Vardy, who is part of my team. And the final change, when I took out Danny Ings from my front forwards, I brought in Ollie Watkins. Again, he's owned by 24.1%, so he's owned by a few more managers than my other differentials. But in terms of Ollie Watkins, he's in quite a few teams where he's actually on the bench. Now, for me, originally, he's going to be on the bench. I'm going to be basing it between him and Bamford. Whoever's in a more rich goal-scoring form or whoever has a more favourable fixture, I am going to be tempted towards them. There are obviously benefits of having Patrick Bamford in the team because he does take penalties. Ollie Watkins, I don't remember, did he? I think he did he or did he not? I think he did take... Did he take penalties at any point? I think he did. Yeah, and I think he missed one and he got taken away from penalty duties and it got given to El Ghazi. Yes, an odd one. I can't really remember, but I do believe he was on penalties at some point this season. And then he got taken away from the penalty responsibilities. So we don't know. He could be brought back. If you look at him recently, for a player who's worth £6.5 million, he's got 10 goals and 4 assists this season already. Kind of, validating the price tag. He's pretty much guaranteed every minute of the game. So if you can look, he's actually played every minute of the Premier League season so far. So he's guaranteed to play whether he gets a return or not. He got a great 19-point return with 3 goals and assist against Liverpool, which was game week 4. After that, he's had one against Crystal Palace where he got 3 assists. But here again, he's got 1 9-point game week against Arsenal. So for me, it was a no-brainer to bring him in because he's nice to have a good backup. I've actually learnt the hard way, so I put all my money into the first 11. And there have been weeks where some of my main players from my 11 have been injured, COVID related, and I didn't have the transfer or the funds to make these transfers. And it has cost me dearly, but now I do believe I have a 14-man squad. I've still got 1 player left that I want to change, which is Douglas. He's no longer at Leeds, but I will change him, I think, for Williams from Liverpool. He does get the occasional odd minute, but he's going to be my 15th player, so I'm not going to really bring him in, not really going to be fussed about whether he plays or not, but he's just going to be another player that, yes, he's on the bench and he'll get the odd minute. If need be, he can come on into my team and grab me that extra kind of game point that I need. So yeah, if you look at Ollie Watkins in the last, let's say 4 game weeks, he's got 2 goals and a total points tally of 15 plus 4, 19 points over 4 game weeks, which is quite impressive. I know he's had Leicester, Brighton and Arsenal and West Ham, which are quite tough fixtures to be fair. They've all been in good form in their own right, so I think to get that many points from those 4 games, I'd take that as a 6.5 million forward. But this is where my main reason came from. So let me go through their fixtures for you. So Aston Villa still have 2 game week fixtures to make up compared to any other team. So they've got a double game week in 26, which is against Leeds and Sheffield away, which are 2 away games. So I am thinking, should I bring him into the team or not? Again, I don't know. It's one of those where without Grealish, are Aston Villa going to look like the team going forward? Barkley's been a bit off colour. Traore has been in good form. El Ghazi, yeah, he's not a regular, but he's performed when needed to be, but a bit unsure on this one. So I'm not deciding yet, but at the moment he's not going to be playing in my team. But looking at those fixtures again now, it has kind of made me think, should I consider bringing him into my squad? But we'll see. If there are any changes or if there are any more team news that we do get, I will let you guys know. But yeah, in terms of, they got Everton as well, which is still to be decided. It's a difficult game week, but again, they got the game weeks intact. You want to make sure you triple up on Villa so you can maximise your returns on them. Better to take the point hits now, whilst the players are lower in price and lower ownership compared to when the game week arrives and the prices go up and you may not actually be able to afford that player. So let's go through his next couple of game weeks as well. He's got Wolves at home, which is a good derby in the West Midlands. You've got Newcastle away, again, a winnable fixture. Then they've got Spurs, which is home. You've got Fulham. And then are the 2 challenging games. They've got Liverpool and Manchester City in game week 31 and 32 back-to-back. So those may be the games that I actually bench him. And then he's got some favourable fixtures with West Brom, Everton, Crystal Palace, but then he's got Manchester United, Tottenham and Chelsea in the last 3 game weeks. So yet again, like Leicester, he does have a challenging last couple of games of the season. But these are the teams that are around the position of Europe. So again, as I mentioned earlier, will this last 4 game weeks of the season actually define not only Premier League fantasy managers like us, their points season? However, will it actually define the overall season in terms of where teams finish? But Ollie Watkins, if you guys can afford him and you want him in your team as a cheap option, do bring him in into your squad. So those were the 4 changes I've made for Game Week 26. I have 11 players who are going to be playing double game week. So that's the one benefit I do have. Now, as you guys can see, I do have Grealish, who's got like an injury orange icon colour, which means that he's got a leg injury and he's 50% chance of playing. Now, this is a bit of a funny one, guys, because I don't know if you guys have heard, but Aston Villa have actually banned their players from playing Fantasy Premier League. So it's a bizarre story. I read this earlier today, late last night and earlier today. I read a bit of it yesterday, but I got through the whole story today. Aston Villa players actually released news before the game. This is where the leak came from, that Jack Grealish is injured and he won't be playing. And even Brendan Rodgers admitted that he played certain players in certain positions because of that news that came through. That Grealish won't be playing, that he will be making certain squad arrangements for that. So again, Fantasy Premier League, have Villa, the board itself, overreacted? I'm not too sure, to be fair. But yeah, they've been banned, so I don't think it makes much of a difference. You can start a new team with a different name. Are they actually going to censor it or board it? But yeah, it was quite funny how they have reacted and how the news got leaked to certain Premier League managers. Luckily, I had Jesus on the bench. I know he gave me a point only, but that's the benefit of having a player who will play, even though Jesus isn't a regular. But I think with Aguero out and not being fully fit, he was like the only main striker at that point, and he's paid me dividends over the last couple of weeks. But this injury, it's a bit of a weird one, to be fair. So you hear the Aston Villa manager coming out and saying he'll be back for the Leeds game, but you've got news reports saying that he's out for a month. Now, I've still got him in my squad. If he doesn't play in this double game week, there is a likelihood I will I'll transfer him out. But there's likelihood I can bring him back later in the season because, as I said, he does have double game weeks still pending and the game against Everton to come through again. So let's see how that actually pans out, how it goes. Is he going to be back? Is he going to be back sooner than expected? Is he going to be out for longer than expected? Because, again, there's a disparity in the news. Is he out for 4 weeks? Is he out for just a week only? It's yet to be seen. So I'll keep him in for now because I have backed Jack Grealish all season. He plays pretty much every minute. For Aston Villa, they've got, I believe, no competitions left to go for anywhere. And even if they did have the FA Cup, which I don't believe they're in at the moment, but even if, let's say, they did, he'll still play that game, and he'll still play the 2 Premier League games either side of that game week fixture. So yeah, let's see. This is an interesting one. I did see a few news on Twitter about Jack Grealish not playing, but can't really always trust what's on Twitter, to be fair. So yeah, he's still in my squad. He's owned still by 34.3% of the Premier League managers. So it's going to be a tricky one. If I do sub him out, if I do change him, it's probably going to be Maddison, who's a good replacement. But again, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So let's see if we were to take out Jack Grealish. And let's go to Leicester. And if we go to Leicester here, yeah, he's got an injury icon. So there's a hip injury for 75% chance of playing. But look at these stats. These are immense for Maddison this season. So let's highlight that through. So last season, that was the season when I had him in my team. He played a total of 2,624 minutes, 125 points. Guess what, guys? Already you guys can see in 1,624 minutes, which is like 1,000 minutes less, really. He's just 6 points behind. 6 goals last season, 5 assists, and he's got 8 and 7 already. And if you look at his last 5 game weeks put together, so let's have a look. He has, start from Leeds, so he's got 3 assists and 2 goals. Wow. So let's see. That wouldn't be a bad replacement. So let's see if we put on Pin in. I still have 0.3 million to spare. I can spare that on other places in the team. Maybe remove Wan-Bissaka and get a City defender in. Or if I can't afford a City defender, then maybe if we take Grealish out and put Tielemans in, that'll give me about 1 million. So if I want to leave Wan-Bissaka in and take Luke Shaw out, then I get 6.2. And let's have a look at Man City. Right. So Cancelo and Diaz is worth 6.1. So yeah. So let's see if we put Diaz in. Come and have a look at it. It's not a bad team, actually. So Tielemans is I think, if Maddison isn't on the pitch or Vardy's not on the pitch, he is on set piece, so he has taken a few penalties this season. And to be fair, if you look at his points tally, he's owned by 2.5%, so that's another differential. He's only 6.4 mil. Yeah, and he's pretty much guaranteed a start every week anyway. 5 goals, 2 assists for the price tag. yeah, I think he's someone you can definitely think of. But let's say if I was to go for Souček, he's someone who I haven't had in my team this season. West Ham, let's try him. So Souček 5.3. If we pop him in, I still have 1.2 even with Diaz. Right, so that's a bit interesting. So let's say if I was to leave Luke Shaw in, take Dyer out, and let's say if I placed Diaz in there, so that's 8 points, still 1.1 mil. Let's say if I take out Van Bissaka and put Cancelo, let's put Stones in, for example. So I have 1.4 mil left. Gundogan, 6 mil. So if I was to take out Gundogan, place in, let's go Leicester, pop in James Maddison. So these are a few weeks forward. Yeah, so it's about 4 game week transfers. And I can basically have the City double up on defence, 2 Spurs players for double game week. I've got Maddison and Vardy, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Souček, Watkins. So I can put Souček on the bench. So I can actually play a 3-4-3 where I can have Watkins, Bamford and Vardy at front, and then I could play literally Stones, Diaz and Shaw or Reguilon depending on who has a more favourable fixture. So that's actually not looking too bad. But again, hey, let's reset this and go back to my current squad, and that's something that I can potentially look at for a future game week transfers for my fantasy team. So let's go through a few questions that I was sent through this week. Will you be getting Kane into your squad? Good question. Well, it's a bit, I've already made my transfers, but let's see if I was to go for Harry Kane rather than James Vardy. So let's go to Spurs. I believe he's like $1 million more. So 11.1. How much do I have? 0.8. So again, if I was to take out Jack Grealish, 6.6. And again from Leicester, if I put in Yuri Tielemans, 6.4. Yeah, it leaves me with 0.2 mil. Let's have a look at his game week fixtures. So he's got Burnley, Fulham. For me, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the most favourable fixtures that the squads have this week. And then he's got Crystal Palace, Arsenal away, Aston Villa, Newcastle. I'd say 5 out of those 7 fixtures are winnable for Spurs. But again, it comes back to how aggressive will Mourinho be. He's talked about his coaching methods being challenged. Is he? Well, he said, please don't question my coaching methods. I don't know. I'm double-minded in my team, but I made my decision. Trying to think of it from a different perspective. Would I want Harry Kane in there? If we look at his history, I want to forget about the Manchester United and Southampton game because they were a bit of an illuminous. They're like different results for them. I know they had a few more good weeks, but let's have a look. So take off 4 and 1, 5 assists from those 2 games. So he has 6 assists, and take off 1 goal and 2 or 3 goals, 10 goals. Again, he has been well, but that's the worrying fact. Is if you look at his, let's take out those 2 game weeks where he was injured. So let's take his last 5 90-minute games. So we had Fulham, Sheffield United, West Brom, Man City, West Ham. So 3 out of those 5 games, I believe, well, West Ham, I would have expected them to win. But he's got 1, 2, 3 goals and no assists. Now for a striker that's got 11.1 million, he's the most expensive striker in the game. I'd expect better returns, especially if you're playing 2 out of the 3 of the bottom teams in the Premier League. But never rule Harry Kane out. If I was to put on my thinking hat from form-wise rather than Harry Kane in general as an FPL manager. Let's take the form out of the question. I would have brought him in, definitely. And the next question I got was triple captain. Would I have played triple captain fixtures? Yes. So if I had the triple captain chip left, I definitely would play the triple captain chip this week with Harry Kane. So come to think of it, if I had the opportunity to get him into my squad and I had the funds, I'd put him in for these 2 game weeks, because I believe the next 3 game weeks he can get good returns. But because it's a double game week, and if I had a triple captain chip, which was a question, yes, play it on Harry Kane. It's not even taking a chance. I think you're guaranteed a return in at least one of those 2 games. I may have jinxed it by saying that, but take it on. Play the triple card. You don't know if there's going to be many other double game weeks, but if they are, how favourable the fixtures are going to be. But for me, Burnley and Fulham, best fixtures. Triple captain Kane, yes. Please play it if you've got the opportunity. It's best time to take it now with those fixtures in mind. I think they are the most friendliest fixtures for double game weeks out of the teams that are playing this week. I think Arsenal and Leeds are the only 2 teams that are not playing a double game week. So definitely, if you've got Kane, if you've got your triple card, captain chip, play it. Go ahead and take a shot. Hopefully that can move you up the rankings in this week. Dominic Calvert-Lewin in for Danny Ings. Well, yeah, I've taken Danny Ings out. I believe if there any other team that has good fixtures for game week 26, let's have a look at Everton. They've got Southampton on Monday, and they have West Brom. Yeah, definitely. Southampton have, let's have a look. Their first game is Everton. Yep, so this week, not only do Southampton only play one game, they actually have that game, which is, I think, a bit more tougher against Everton because they are away. Everton, Southampton at home, and West Brom, as you guys can see here, they are away to. Yes, definitely bring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let's have a look at his stats. So, Everton are here. Let's get Calvert-Lewin up. He's owned by 35%, almost 36% of the Fantasy Premier League managers, 124 points, 13 goals and 6 assists. Just looking at his last couple of weeks, he was injured. He came back against Liverpool, played 28 minutes, got 4 points because he got that assist for the penalty. Whether it was a penalty or not, it's up for debate, but he got the points for the fantasy managers. Against Manchester United, he got 12 points with the bonus point after scoring the injury time equaliser. He scored against Leeds, Newcastle blank, Leicester blank. So yeah, I mean, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah, I'd bring him in for this game week, maybe even captain him. Actually, let me go one step further, triple captain him. He's going to be a differential. If he scores, I know he's got ownership, but if you have him as triple captain and he scores and he gets you assists against these teams, a lot of people are going to be more likely to play their triple captain chip on Harry Kane. Even though he's owned by less players, but are people going to take the punt on DCL for triple captain? I don't think so. So yes. That's my tip of the week. Definitely consider playing a triple captain chip on DCL. And I would definitely, if you've got him in your team, keep him. If you don't have him in your team, I would not think twice about bringing him in for Danny Ings, because for me, Danny Ings, I trusted him a lot. And unfortunately, he didn't live up to my expectation for the number of game weeks I had him in. So, yep. Thank you for that question. I would definitely make that transfer, even if it cost me 4 points. I think that would be a risk worth taking, and I think he can get you more than 4 points that you will lose out. Mccarthy or Pope for the double game week? Good question. But Mccarthy doesn't have a double game week. Let's see who Burnley have. So let's go on to Pope. Burnley. Nick Pope, 120 points, owned by 15.6% of managers. Fixtures, Tottenham and Leicester. Now, if you have him in your team, I'd definitely play Pope, because he's got 2 game weeks compared to Southampton's 1 game week for McCarthy. Clean sheets are looking difficult. Maybe bonus points for save points. You can get points for every 3 saves you make. It's a tough one. I mean, first things first, double game week, I'd always say go for the player that has a double game week. I don't think Tottenham, how will they come out against them? Burnley are one of the best defences in the league as well. They're away. Bad turf more as well. So, yeah, I would definitely say after looking at those 2 fixtures and the fixture for Southampton, yeah, bring in Nick Pope. He will be a good asset to have in the team. Got 9 clean sheets this season so far out of 25 games. And in terms of bonus points, he's got 20. Let's see how many saves or save points he's got. So he's got 92 saves. Must have got a few save points in there somewhere. So yeah, definitely bring in Nick Pope. McCarthy, or if you've got them both in your squad, play Pope because he's got a double game week. Next question was Stones or Luke Shaw. I think I answered that a moment ago. I'm looking potentially to get any City defences or defenders in. Jones again. Sorry, Stones, John Stones. Again, is he going to be a rotational player? It happened the week I had him in. Has he been benched since? So yeah, he was benched against Sheffield United. That was the day I changed and transferred him out. He's been benched 1 game against Everton. See, there's a Pep Roulette potential chance here. He's owned by 23% of managers. He's got Wolves and West Ham at home. Good fixtures. United, how many managers? 9.2%. Again, the differential option comes for Luke Shaw. He's got Chelsea away, Crystal Palace away. After what I've seen of Crystal Palace this week against Brighton, I think they're there for the taking without Zaha, but they have won the game. By the way, before I move any forward, what a goal from Matata, or Matata, not sure how you pronounce it, but what a goal. Got like a, back heel flick without even having, looking at the goal. He's got his back to the goal. What a great goal that was. So if you guys haven't seen it, please do search it up and have a look. Absolutely brilliant goal. But in terms of this question, Stones or Luke Shaw, I'm going to say Luke Shaw because, yeah, they've got Chelsea away and Crystal Palace away. But again, it's the Pep Roulette and rotation policy. Are they going to suffer from the rotation risk? So I'm not sure. If you've got defenders, I've got 2 arguments for this. If you've got defenders on the bench who can come in just in case he's benched, then definitely Stones. But if you've got no defenders and you're literally playing 11 players, I'd definitely go for Luke Shaw because he's on set pieces such as corners and some free kicks as well, which he can deliver. So a good question there. Let's reset the team again. What's the next question? De Bruyne and Kane for Salah and Jesus. So I've gone through Kevin De Bruyne and I've gone through Harry Kane. Let's have a look at Mo Salah. Yeah. So he's owned by 42.5% of the managers. I believe he was around 60% ownership at one point when I was owning him earlier in the season. He's got 164 points still, and people still think this hasn't been one of his best seasons. 17 goals, 4 assists. If you look at his last 5 games, he's got 4 goals and no assists, but he's got good tally actually, to be fair. He's got a double tally for a game week in 21 against West Ham. And the next one was Jesus, which I know the stats for. Actually, who do Liverpool have as their fixtures? Let's have a look. Sheffield and Chelsea. Chelsea at home, their home record, they lost 4 on the bounce. Sheffield United away, who've got a bit of a resurgence, but they're not great defensively. And then you've got Harry Kane and you've got Kevin De Bruyne. Cool, I'm going to take a call. I will definitely say I'd make the swap. Salah out with Jesus, bring in Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane. And again, as I mentioned earlier, play the triple captain for Harry Kane if you do have it. Most friendly fixtures for me or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, whichever one you guys feel. So let's go back to the team itself. Let's have a look through. Next question. Who to choose for captain? I've already gone through that. I think Harry Kane, but I've got Fernandes. Triple captain for Harry Kane if you do have him. Lingard or Gundogan for Rafinha? Sorry. Good question. So I've got Gundogan in my team. If you look at his last couple of game weeks, so in the last 5 game weeks, he's got 2 assists and 4 goals. He's not played the Everton game because of injury, but he's played pretty much every other 90 minute. Let's have a look at Jesse Lingard. For me, he's been phenomenal, by the way, since he's been at West Ham. Let's have a look what he offers and what his price is. So he's 5.9 mil, guys. So he got 15 points against Aston Villa, 2 goals. So if we look at the 4 game weeks, so we've got 3 goals and 1 assist. He's got 2 double-digit game weeks in the last 4 game weeks. So Jesse Lingard, 5.9. Actually, is that someone who I should consider bringing in? It's a good one. Lingard or Gundogan? First question, how many City players do you have? Do you have 2 defenders and De Bruyne or Sterling? Have you already got 3? If that is the case, then I wouldn't take out any of those players for Gundogan to keep him in. Lingard-wise, I'd bring in Lingard because, yes, Gundogan's been on form. Yep, he's got goals and assists, but I did see him slightly further back than his original positions he's had recently when Kevin De Bruyne's been out of the squad. Take a risk. Go for Lingard. Let's see what the fixtures are like, actually. So they've got Man City and they've got Leeds. Looking at the fixtures now, maybe I'm a bit double-minded. Man City, Leeds, Manchester United, Arsenal, Wolves. Leicester, Newcastle. Okay. Change of plan, guys. I've changed my mind. Give him another 2 game weeks. I'll get Gundogan in for Rafinha. So I believe if you're going to bring in Lingard, probably bring him in after the Leicester game. He's got Newcastle, which is in about 6 game weeks. Newcastle, Chelsea will be a tough game at home. Then he's got Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom and Southampton. So I'd wait a couple of weeks, see how the form continues. If he goes out and gets a hat-trick against Man City, then that's just well played. But also I've noticed one thing, he's only got 1 game this game week, so no, don't go for Lingard this week. I'd definitely say Gundogan for Rafinha, because you've got a double game week, and even if he is benched for 1 game, I still think Gundogan will probably get a higher return for the 1 game that he'll play against West Ham. Update on Jack Grealish. So again, I mentioned earlier, there's no real update. It does say on the website, for Fantasy Premier League, it's 50% chance of playing the next game. The reason why that is because the manager for Aston Villa confirmed that he will be available for the Leeds game. However, there's sources or media that have actually said that up to 4 weeks, up to a month, 6 weeks, potentially some cases, he may be out for. So can't really say exactly what it is, but we'll definitely find out on Saturday if he does play the first game week or not. And I'm pretty sure that during the press conference before the game, or if not after the game, you will get asked a question on Jack Grealish because he's the main man. So yeah, why not? At the moment, I would say keep him in. It's a double game week. If you've got a pet player on the bench, transfer him in. If not, if you've got a free transfer, bring in someone like James Maddison, but he is injured. But Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, anyone else in that price range, I would say if you do have in the midfield, bring him in. Bernardo Silva, he's been pretty good recently. So yeah, I mean, I'd consider this Jesse Lingard, but he's only got 1 game week. So yeah, avoid West Ham players. So yeah, I would say keep Grealish in until for now. Let's take it all the way up to the kind of like press conference, and let's see what the Aston Villa camp actually release. Who knows? One of their players might actually release it on social media, and we'll know beforehand what his status of his injury is. So that'll be interesting to see. Who would you play, Souček or Firmino? Well, Souček based on recent form, but I can see that they've only got one game week, and Liverpool have, let's check, Bobby Firmino. He's owned by 4.9% of Fantasy Premier League managers, so he's a differential. For the price, how much is he worth? 9.2 mil. He's got 6 goals and 5 assists. So you've got someone like Ollie Watkins, who's practically 3 million cheaper, and he's got far more points and goals and returns compared to Roberto Firmino. In his last 5 game weeks, he's got 2 assists and no goals. So he does have a double game week though. He's got Sheffield and Chelsea. It's not a striker I would have, but if I had a choice between him and Souček over the next 2, well, this game week with the 2 games and the 1 game, West Ham have Man City, and Firmino has Chelsea and Sheffield. I'd say Firmino, as much as I don't want to say it, but yeah, if that's your choice making rationale, if you're going to go for Firmino, why not go for someone cheaper like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or a Richarlison, much more friendlier fixtures. Yeah, so have a think about that if that's something that you would consider. So why not DCL or Richarlison, whichever one of the 2 you prefer in your attack. So yeah, go for them. We've got Watkins or Gundogan. Who should I play? So I guess that's probably going to be like a formation question. So I'm playing a 3-5-2. Well, if Grealish doesn't play, it'll be a 3-4-3. So would I play Watkins, who has Leeds and Sheffield? Would I play Gundogan, who has Wolves and West Ham? That's a good question. I mean, I'm playing Gundogan, so it actually depends on your team structure. Do you have another premium forward like I have Vardy, and I have another kind of like a mid-range striker such as Bamford in terms of value? So it depends what you have. If you have 2 budget like Antonio, Bamford and Watkins, then yeah, I would play Watkins. If you have a premium striker like myself, bring in Gundogan, it'll be much better. You'll have a good balance to the side, and I believe that's going to go a long way for you to maximising your points for this week. So look, next question. Daniel James, shall I bring him in? Wow, as a United fan, as you guys can tell from my shirt, I watched him this week, and yeah, he was pretty good to be fair. Let's have a look. He's owned by 0.2% of the managers. See how much he's played. He's played 87 minutes. He got a goal against Southampton, 30 minutes. He got a goal in Europa League, an assist, I think, and he got a goal against Newcastle. Again, a differential. How much is he costing us? He's costing us 6.2 for the minutes. Again, would I say bring him in? It's a double game week against Chelsea and Crystal Palace, then they've got Man City. For now, I'd say hold on. Let's take him all the way till the derby, which is game week 27. Let's see if he's played a few more games. Let's see how his form is. And then if he does perform in the next 3 games and he gets game time, I think the main concern I have is the game time. And the price, 6.2 million for a player who plays hardly any minutes. Like the total minutes he's played this season is 440. So, not too sure, but no, not at the moment. I wouldn't bring him in. We can review this in a couple of game weeks, which is 3 game weeks time, and see if we want to bring him in for the West Ham game, because then he'll have Brighton, Tottenham and Burnley. So that'll be an interesting choice. So for now, I wouldn't bring in Dan James. But if he does perform in the next game or the next 2 games against Man City as well, then yeah, he can be someone we can consider bringing in. Kevin De Bruyne and Son, or Fernandes and Son? Well, I've got all 3 of them in my squad. Who's got the more favourable fixtures? Chelsea, Crystal Palace for Manchester United, both away fixtures, and you've got De Bruyne, who is playing Wolves and West Ham. Who would I have in? It has to be Fernandes. at this present moment, because of the amount of goal returns and De Bruyne just coming back. I know he's got a bit more tougher fixtures, but even if he doesn't play well, he gets good points. I mean, against Southampton, he didn't have the greatest game in the world, and he came away with 17 points. Yeah, so I would definitely consider Fernandes. Plus, he's pretty much confirmed the set-piece penalty taker, unless he's not on the pitch. But De Bruyne, I'm not even sure if he's a penalty taker anymore. Is it De Bruyne? Is it Gundogan? Is it Aguero? Is it Sterling? Who was it? Was it Rodri who took the last one? I don't even know who's on the penalties. Is Edison going to be the next penalty taker? So yeah, I would say Fernandes based on the likelihood of returns. But if you can get all three of them in like I have, get them in. If not Fernandes and Son, that would be my recommendation for this week. Is it a good week to play bench boost? Of course. If you've got 15 players that are all playing and they're all double week game players, I reckon it's a really good time to play that. Maximise your returns. It will actually help you because if you get extra 4 players playing in, well, effectively eight games worth of points, then yeah, that will be really good. So definitely do consider a bench boost. I wish I still had my bench boost chip. But I've learned a lot this season. I think I played them a bit too early. I was pretty I was pretty not concerned. I'll say I was pretty conclusive with the fact that if I play them now, they were the right time to play. But I've learnt one thing: is to be patient, keep them safe, and play them at the right time. Not to say I didn't play them at the right time, but I do believe that maybe next time or next season I will be a lot more careful and wise choosing when to use my chips. Just a bit of a story for you guys. On the first day of the season, I was going to triple captain Salah, and I don't know why I decided not to. I thought it's the first game of the season, it's Leeds, I don't know how it's going to go. And he got 20 points, and I only got 40, and if I'd got 60, I reckon, that would have done wonders for my season. The confidence would have been absolutely oozing. Next question, Aubameyang and Grealish for Bruno and Gundogan for a 4-point hit. Aubameyang and Grealish, well, no, because Aubameyang, he scored a hat-trick against Leeds, but he was absolutely non-existent against Man City. Plus, they've only got one game this game week, and Grealish is injured, so Bruno and Gundogan should be remaining in your squad. First of all, why would I even ask that question? Interesting question that was. But no, don't take a 4-point hit, and please don't sub those out for those two players. Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Gundogan this week? Depends on the formation, but if you had to choose between those two players, I've already said it. TCL, triple captain, be different, be brave. That's all I can say. That's going to be the new slogan now. Be different, be brave. GCL, triple captain, that's my tip of the week. Let's see how that pans out. The next question we have is wildcard this week or free hit? Oh, that's a good question. I'd say wildcard. If you can get in 15 players that you believe are going to play this week and who you think you can actually keep for like Aston Villa or Spurs players for game weeks that are still kind of like they're behind, maybe. Or if you've got a free hit, actually play a free hit now. Potentially play a wild card in what game week is it? Let's have a look. Game week 29. Well, there's definitely going to be another game week around week 30 to 32. Oh, the dilemma. Good question. Either way, it's absolutely fine. It depends on how you want to play it. But if this is me in this situation, I would play... Is it better to be the known or the unknown? How many favourable fixtures are there in this week? If I was in this situation, I would play the free hit now, so my team can go back to the team I originally had because I've actually trusted that. Wait a bit longer. There might be a few more injuries, a bit more clarity around how teams' fixtures are going to play. There might be a few more friendlier fixtures coming up in the future. You'll probably be able to see Kane, De Bruyne back in action, full flow, and then play the wild card in game week 31, 32, whenever the next double game week will come. So whichever way you play, it's absolutely your choice. It's going to be the right decision for you. But I'll definitely go free hit first this week and then wild card in a couple of weeks' time. Next question, Cresswell or Antonio? Good question. I have neither in my team. But let's have a look. West Ham, Cresswell, 120 points, owned by 26% of the managers, 5.8 mil. 9 assists and 9 clean sheets. Who's his next games against? Let's have a look. So he's got Man City. It's not a double game week. Leeds, Manchester United, Arsenal. Defensively, probably not the best. Antonio might be a good shout. Have you got Antonio in your team? That's the question. If they're both in your squad and you need to bench one, I'll definitely pick Antonio. Because I believe that he scored a great goal against Spurs. Come back from injury is pretty fresh. The team are on a high, so why not? But if you're doing it for transfers, reconsider, because West Ham only have one game this game week, and that is against Man City, who have the best defence in the league. So, they're great going forward, second highest goal scoring team, so maybe Cresswell might not get the clean sheet. But never say never, they are away at the Etihad, which is a fortress. So, yeah, I'd go Antonio at the 2 if I was to choose between him and Cresswell. But if you can avoid both of them, because they are only one game week in this game week, so that would be ideal for you as well. Why do I have a double United defence? Well, the question I ask is why not? Nah, it's just basically a couple of weeks ago when the Arsenal game happened and Southampton game followed by the Everton game, I got some really good returns from Wan-Bissaka, as you guys can see, 8, 17 and 4. A couple of assists and a goal. And then Luke Shaw, I think it's probably been his best season, probably United's player of the season for me so far after Bruno Fernandes. You can see he gets Southampton, he got 2, 1 against Everton, 1 against West Brom, so he's got 4 out of his 5 returns of assists in the last 5 game weeks. So why not? I think I picked him at the right time. Next couple of games which are coming up, I am actually thinking maybe to change one of them, potentially to John Stones or Diaz, depending on what transfer I make with Grealish, but we'll see. At the moment, I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to back them. Differential-wise, only 9% of managers have Shaw, and Wan-Bissaka is owned by 17.5. For the price they offer for the game week returns, yeah, I think I'll stick with them. And if they have a tough fixture, which is like Man City and stuff, I can always bring in the Spurs defenders that I do have in my squad. Who do they have actually that week? Crystal Palace at home, Arsenal away, yeah. So Crystal Palace at home, that's game week, yeah. So I can bench one of Luke Shaw or Wan-Bissaka against Man City. So we'll see when we get there. So yeah, that's the reason why I got them in. It's the game with good returns, and I picked them at the time that they had good form. So yeah, that's why they're in my team. Would I add Kane to my squad? Well, the answer to that is no, because I didn't in this case. But yeah, if I had the funds, I would have added him in. I already took an 8-point hit. I did not want to take a 12-point hit. There are managers out there who on Twitter have released squads that have taken 16, 20 points hits. That's ridiculous, honestly. I'm not taking that much of a hit for a double game week. Are you going to make up 20 points? Maybe not. 8, more likely. That's why I chose the 8-point swing. So even if I don't make it, at least I've got a double game week to fall back on. So in terms of the deadline stream, guys, so I guys can show you what my squad looks like at the moment. So let's go to the squad page. Can I get it all on? Can you guys see? Let's bring it down a bit. That's it. That's the one. Cool. So as you guys can see, let's start from my goalkeeper. We've got Martinez here, Leeds and Sheffield United. I think I can get a clean sheet in at least one of those games. 2 Man United defenders, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Chelsea's going to be a tough game. The new manager hasn't lost a game yet, but yeah, let's see. Maybe I can get a few returns and a cheeky assist or a goal from either of them would be nice. I've got Reguilon playing in the squad. He's got Fulham and Burnley. I reckon they can keep a clean sheet finally. Am I tempted to swap either of Shaw or Wan-Bissaka? So potentially I could take Gundogan out, or I could take Grealish out, play 4-4-2 switch. That could be something I could do. Again, that's not something I've decided, but for now I want to keep Grealish back in the squad. I've got obviously Son as well, who's been playing the same game. Should I captain Son actually? That's an interesting one. I didn't think of that at all. Differential. But a lot of people are going to be captaining Fernandes, and if Fernandes gets a good game week haul, again, it's going to push my ranking back, which I faced last week. So let's see if I consider him as a captain. You never know. De Bruyne is my vice captain for now. Actually, let's make him vice captain so I keep him in consideration. So we've got Grealish, Leeds, Sheffield United, as I mentioned. We've got De Bruyne, West Ham and Wolves, with Gundogan as well. Watkins again, so I'm tripling up on Aston Villa. And I have Vardy, which is going to play Arsenal and Burnley. Oh, should I have captain Vardy? That's a good question. Either way, this is the best thing that I had to do. I've made a few hits in terms of the points I got hit for the transfers, but the fact that I've got 2 players on the bench that I can rely upon who can come on and literally cover me if I have any injuries such as Grealish that are here, then why not? They're on there for a reason. I'd like to know that I've got some subs that can come on and replace the players that are injured for me. So that's what my team's looking like so far, guys. Let me know how you guys get on. Best of luck. Make your decisions early. The deadline for this week is, I can show you guys, Saturday the 27th of Feb, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning for game week 26. It's a big game week, guys. It's a double game week. Make sure you get your teams locked in. Make your choices sensibly. Choose your captain wisely. And remember the tips that I gave you. Triple captain, DCL or Kane. This is the time to go for it. If not, why not Son? After looking at his fixtures, triple captaining Son. Are you going to be a differential? Take on these brave decisions, move up the rankings, and let's make this game week successful. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. If you guys have liked the video that I've made and you like the content that I'm making, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave me some feedback. If you guys want to know when I'm releasing my next videos, click on the notification icon so you guys can get regular updates of whenever I post a video. Just to let you guys know, I will be posting a few more videos throughout the week. So there will be a video based on the top 5 picks, in my opinion, for this game week on Thursday. And then I'll release another video on Saturday, which will be around some essentials, hidden gems, and they could actually be around budget or premium assets, which you may not know about. So keep a lookout, subscribe to my channel, watch my videos, let me know how I've done, leave me some feedback. Have a lovely evening, best of luck for this game week, and we'll meet again soon.